think I know when I came in, I got so much confidence from just being this like kind of run-of-the-mill, you know, sort of cruisy, which I am like a very cruisy person.
Yeah.
But I think for people it was hard to gauge that I could be one and the other. So I just let them think I was just one.
And kind of, I love the prestige in that, like the mystique, like the, you know, I can appreciate that. Like allowing people to think you're just this while you're executing like that.
Yeah, because I use it to my advantage and have used it to my advantage for a long time. I think where I find it tough now is like, in a lot of the things that I'm kind of trying to do in the business realm, and especially like what we've talked about, like, you know, when it comes to sort of the agency world and like working with, you know, doing like business to business stuff, it is then harder for them, especially already being young and brown, where it's already hard for them, let alone a comedian. Yeah. You know, a lot of them are looking at.
Is that something like you're battling, like, oh, he's a young brown comedian, he can be funny, but he doesn't know how to do the business of this shit?
Yeah, for sure. It is hard for me.
Is that racism? Or is that systemic discrimination?
I think it's, the way I kind of look at it is like, I think I probably am suffering from like the burden of like maybe trying to do things in the way I'm trying to do them as the type of person I am, and kind of being the first for a lot of these people. Because like I go to a lot of these meetings and stuff and meet a lot of these people, and you can tell they've like never hung out with brown people in general in their lives, let alone, you know.
That's the best feeling, eh?
Right, exactly.
Isn't it the best?
You can tell.
I love it, bro.
You can tell, like like you go to some of these meetings and you pitch them ideas that are like, you know, that is killing it on like brown social media and like, which I know is the most influential like part of New Zealand social media, is like the trends that brown people are setting.
Totally.
But you tell them ideas from that and they're just like, oh really? Are people like, do you think people will get this? Do you think people will get this? And it's like, you're pitching me to do like a fucking backyard cricket game. Like, do I look like I fucking play cricket? Like,
well,
ask me to name one black cap. The only one I know is the one hanging up on my wall. It's a literal black cap. I don't know any of them.
So it's just like, you got a
New
Zealand cricket player hanging on the wall?
Yeah, I don't know a single. I know one cricket player.
Can you name one from like black cap from ever?
One black cap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go.
The Fujitsu heat pump guy.
Stephen Fleming.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
But I know him from heat pumps.
Right.
Yeah, I think he founded heat pumps.
So inventor of the heat pump.
Yeah, he invented it. I think he like one day just woke up and he was like, okay, I've got a pump and heat. Let's put it together. Yeah. And so I think that's how it worked. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of his work, but I had no idea he played cricket. But yeah, I don't know shit about cricket, and that's the kind of stuff I'm getting pitched, and it's just like, you know, here's a clear example, just one very small like micro example of like a bigger issue of like people that just are supposedly in charge of creating for, you know, these massive audiences. They're trying to build these massive audiences, they're trying to connect to these massive audiences, and they only understand a very small portion of the population.
Totally right.
And
how does that make you feel? Because I have run into that before, obviously, but how do you feel about that personally?
Yeah, it's a super frustrating thing, and it's super frustrating when you see like where all the resources kind of go. So like, I think that's a frustrating thing, but it's one thing that I've learned over and over again is they all are so busy that they can only connect to what they see. And so for us to be able to break through, we just have to be something that they see. And you know, once one of us gets a seat at the table, then more and more can come. And so,
do you know what? I hear that a lot, and I think it's a popular perspective, but like I'm 48 now, right? And I've been doing this shit since 95, right? And
that's where you were born.
I've seen different versions of Joey D come. I've seen different versions of other talented brothers and sisters come and go. What has prevailed in all of that time is the exact system that you're talking about right now. That has not changed, bro. And I think that, like, my belief is that it will never change. And it won't change by us deciding that the way to change it is to play that game. Or the way to change, this is my personal belief, is to get a seat at the table. Because if that table is surrounded by people that are just like the people that you described, then you're flattering yourself to think that you can change the worldview of all of those people.
Yeah.
Who some of them will just like have heavily ingrained perspectives, or like in that world, massive self-interest.
Yeah.
And you cannot fuck with those people's self-interest because that's money and that's identity.
Yeah.
I just see so much of the great stuff that you're doing. Like I observe your trajectory and the way that you're playing the game in comparison to other incredibly talented brothers and sisters, brown brothers and sisters that are playing the game in social and influence based on personality and influence. My observation about the way you're playing is that it's flying at a high trajectory, right? Because you can see the greater opportunity. You're not stuck in doing it this way based on just this way that it's always been done. You're strategic and you execute. You're playing a bigger game. Like all of those things, I go, yeah, I like the way that Joey's playing it.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
But the system,
it's not going to change. I think the way that it took me a while to figure out, but the way that I've decided I'm going to go about it is I was able to do it on a micro level, and so I'm trying to do it on
why can't you be New Zealand's Tyler Perry?
Right, that's exactly the place I'm trying to
Well,
get
he
to.
didn't go about playing that shit on everybody else's table. He built Medea's table.
Yeah. It is the plan, and I think for me, like what I realized and what starting to execute now is just build out. I think for so long I was like I had the vision of what I wanted to do in mind, and then I was always like knocking on doors, being like, "Help me do it." Whereas now I'm in the position where I'm just gonna be like, "I'll just go do it," and I'm like super open, and so the opportunity will always be open for whoever's watching, but. For me, I'm just like, I'm not someone that likes waiting around. Just go do it.